Scooby-Doo Night of 100 Frights is a platforming adventure game which I played very little of when I was young. I really only played in the playground, not anywhere else. It's not a particularly hard game, but I guess you'll see that. I really don't have too much to say about this one, so let's corrupt it. I absolutely love that they recreated the intro of the show with in-game assets. It's pretty cool. This is a pretty neat main menu, but I don't ever remember the Mystery Machine being this high-tech.
Scooby, that transmitter on Scooby's collar is moving awfully fast. The dog rappers must have Scooby.
I do remember the Scooby snacks, though. I appreciate that they have the setup of a normal episode. It's weird that Holly is the only person with an eye color. Not even out of the cutscene, and Velma has activated her extendo finger.
I call it the Thinglonger.
Shaggy offs himself, and it's time for Scoobert Doobert to step up to the plate. And by step up, I mean eat up, and by the plate, I mean the dinner plate. Time to eat. It's weird that it makes an eating sound when you collect these Scooby snacks, considering that you use these to open up snack gates. Off to the Mystic Playground for some snack collection and a Ronster token. I spent too long on this tire trying to get all the snacks. While leaving the playground, you may have heard the groundskeeper.
You heard of mad scientists, right? Well, I'm what you call...
Yes, it is Don Knotts. We go into the manor to see a headless specter having a good old time.
Frights! It's the headless specter!
And get a map whose layout is totally nonsensical. Waste time trying to hit a button even though you can until you get the helmet, not that I knew that. I fall into these pits a couple times because I need those Scooby snacks. Apparently Don has just been standing here wondering where the key is without actually doing anything about it, and instead gives us a shovel so that we can find it. Yes, I'm gonna keep calling him Don, even though he's technically just called the groundskeeper because they don't actually give him a name. You see that key there? I remember somehow getting it before you're supposed to as a kid by jumping off of the dirt pile that you make. I may be misremembering it. On to Shock on the Dock, Part 1. How did he get here so fast? To be fair, that kind of works in the creepy atmosphere of Scooby-Doo. Why are these barrels shaking? Are the fish alive in there? Why not? The caveman is alive in the block of ice. Scooby can kill these rats. We grab onto this pelican, even though it's going to take me back, because the importance of these delicious snacks outweighs the annoyance of going back through the level. Part 2 with Scooby-Doo and Shaggy too. Somehow Shaggy escaped the pit he fell into and is being carried by a pelican. No explanation. We open the path forward and Shaggy insists on not helping. What a pal. Now if you've noticed the lack of corruption, it wasn't turned off, but I think I may have had it set too low or targeting the wrong type of files. I'm not entirely sure. I open the snack gate and it's time for Fear on the Pier. I do like the names of the levels in this game, at least so far. Simple rhyme works most of the time. This sticky black tar prevents Scoobert from running or jumping. Yes, finally, the double jump. Such a simple power, but it's always welcomed whenever a game has platforming. Now we can get that key from earlier and enter On Hedge in the Hedge, Part 1. I don't know if that light's supposed to look like that. It looks kind of weird to me. Emulator crashed. We spot the werewolf and witch, easily avoiding them both. This zombie actually got me, though. We get the slippers and lampshade, which is kind of funny, although I personally hate the laugh track. It helps with the whole feel of the show, though. I get slapped by these two werewolves before the game crashes. Time to go through the whole thing again, and it almost immediately crashes again. And again, and crash, and crash, and crash. I need to blast through these areas and reach another save point before it decides to crash again. And crash in the menu. I finally get hit by one of these werewolves at the beginning, and hit again. I think I'm getting worse. I make it to Part 2 again and create a save state so I won't have to do Part 1 over and over. Part 3. I expected these platforms to fall after touching them. I don't know why. I hate these scarecrows. Look, this one gets me twice. I guess those lights are supposed to look like that. It's still weird though. Shaggy is back and with a wacky, zany lawnmower. Okay, these are the platforms that fall after touching them. I wonder if there's a way to get this one to collapse before Shaggy gets to it for the scarecrow to get hit by the lawnmower. I like how Shaggy says it's out of control, yet he's going to go sit at the start and wait for you in case you need to do this section again. What a liar. It's a mean greenhouse, Scooby-Doo? That's not a very good one. Why not greenhouse mean house? Alright, save point. It's not fair that I can't just get behind these. They put the trash can there. I get up higher in the greenhouse only to be greeted by this wonderful sight. I eventually accidentally find out that there's a chandelier here that drops a platform for me. This texture's gonna be a problem, isn't it? Okay, no, we're good. This zombie got me. New warp gate, new snack gate. Chills and spills on Haunted Hill? Okay, these aren't all that good. We get a save point, though. I'm really bad at these swinging branch jumps. And I walk right into a thorn bush. More branches. Why am I so bad at this? I can't really tell where they are. You know, I didn't really think about it until now, but why is the professor's home like this? What is with all the giant thorn pits? Game crash. Good thing I made a save state. Warp gate got. I walked into this rock because of course I did. I need the helmet to bash open this cave. There's supposed to be a big spider web here, but it's either invisible or the model has been moved. We get the helmet, allowing us to plow past this invisible obstacle and crash the emulator. Web's here this time. This entrance near the top of this hill somehow dumps us into the hedge. Okay. We use our new ability to grab this Rotster token. I go into the manor for a few snacks before coming back out to save. I don't know why I can't get this token. Okay, I was avoiding the painting originally because I remembered the creeper coming out of it, but it didn't happen earlier, so I figured I may have been wrong. I spent too much time trying to get this box of snacks, even though it's obvious that I was supposed to bounce off the headless specter for it. It's okay, I got it anyway. Manor Part 3. Time for a save state. Good thing too, because it crashes right after. Part 4, and oh look, a key. Crashed. I set off the sprinkler system and sprint to the key. I took a lot of hits in the little kitchen. Mind your manners. Okay, I like that one. Shaggy is back again. Why does the professor keep so many pictures of these villains around? It's kinda weird. Cool, bed jumping mechanics. This place's layout is utterly nonsensical. What kind of home would look like this? Why is there a bottomless pit inside the manor? Spinning! I did a much better job of getting all these snacks than I did in the playground earlier. I go through this door and unlock a shortcut, but then I have to go all the way back to this loop just to reopen this other area. I don't appreciate that. Spinning around at the speed of sound. A warp gate and save point I have now achieved. So I know I've brought up the whole fact that this place is nonsensical, and I remember the show being decently reasonable with its locations, but this right here? I would want this in my manor. The long snack. In case you couldn't tell by now from all the subtle hints, I really like spinning Scooby around really fast. I don't know why, but it's oddly satisfying to just spin this dumb idiot dog in circles. Aw man, I was really hoping I could cheese it and get up this slide. I can get so close. I have no idea why this bookshelf is delayed. Is this normal? I never actually played this game and don't really know where to go, so I could have missed this bookshelf opening and not known what the problem was. I like how the go away doormat from the entrance isn't unique. The whole house is filled with these things. Must have got some sort of wholesale deal. I have no idea what's going on in this room with this invisible wall. I assumed it was just the spiderweb's collision box being moved, but I don't know. Well, I say that, but it's happening downstairs too. I've got nothing on this one. I leave, come right back in, and it works fine this time. No invisible barricade. Shaggy's back and running from a couple of bats. I don't Oh. Shaggy, you poor horrifying man. Oh no. That's the fastest bouncing boy you've ever seen. Alright, back to the door for another in and out to make this room reload. Did you see that? The red line at the top? I think the void color has been changed from black to red. Wait, I'm pretty sure that's for when the camera ends up in a position where it can see outside the intended area, but it's right there when I jump. Did something get moved, or did they really cover up a hole in between models by just making the skybox, void, or whatever term you prefer, black so it isn't noticeable? Well, it only seems to be this hallway, so I'm gonna assume something got corrupted to cause this. Okay, maybe it was just a model that changed color and made it look flat. I just love being greeted by a stretched texture blocking my view. Good lord, what is happening in there? Walls are gone. The red is back. There also appears to be a red square underneath this area. Someone's been hiding a little room under the stairs. This is a bit much. Let's head outside. The Miss Machine. Oh yeah? I have no idea what's obscuring my view. Luckily I hit the save point anyway. First it was the walls, now the lawn. The spooks and scares are robbing this man blind. I know, because I'm effectively blind out here too. Suddenly, Scoobert gained psychic powers that allow him to slide around invisible terrain at Mach speeds. At least the Ronsters were nice enough to leave the paths. I use a warp gate to check out some other area and see if anything else has been affected.
It's a warp gate.
If there weren't stretched textures everywhere and I could see properly, I'd just leave it like this. But it is what it is. Time to restart. What? What do you mean? This is an emulator. What do you mean there's no memory card? Okay. Why? Alright, reloaded and ready to go. Now I need to run all the way back to that room with Shaggy so I can try the bouncing thing again. I like how the bosses of the game are hinted at with all these portraits hanging around. Alright, the jump works this time. Ah, more magic stuff going on in this totally real house. Seriously, look at this ridiculous layout. Outside, and this manor isn't that big. I think Scooby's losing his mind from being isolated from the rest of the gang. No wonder he's such a coward. He barely has a grip on reality from all the Scooby snacks he and Shaggy have downed over the years. Actually, this all starts to make some sense now. Scooby and Shaggy always being so anxious and hungry, maybe their minds are so melted and warped that this is how they see the world now. You know, for supposedly being such a big coward, Scooby sure is willing to throw himself around wildly above 50-foot drops. Oh, these gargoyles suck. They fly, making them difficult to kill, and they shoot fire, which causes you to let go of swinging objects that they are normally placed next to. These are some big spiders. At least that explains the size and strength of the spider webs. Whoops, someone got the air wet. They spilled some water, better get somebody to clean that up. Now that's a spooky ghost. You can tell because he's green, the color of fear. He might even be the Booger Man. I'm so afraid of getting hit by the gargoyle that I save him the effort and just jump off myself. The witch doctor decided to use the Mega Staff to deal with this dog. The first hit was so fast that I almost thought he just whacked me with the staff, but he did fire a projectile. I try to head back, but the witch doctor punishes me for my hubris. Have to reload a save state, since the witch doctor also appears to have punished me by removing my ability to move. Boy, the shadows and platforms are freaking out in this room. Ooh, a fun little slide. Ooh, a fun little death pit not working. Disappearing walls again. Oh, come on, camera, don't do that. Why would you change to an angle that obscures my vision of the enemy directly in front of me? Panic in Part 4. I'm really bad at platforming, especially in these older games. The smooth textures and lack of shadows ruin my depth perception. Having a shadow under the character and objects is extremely important, and I've been robbed of mine. I couldn't see how many I needed, but I obviously had plenty. A dark what? A dark snapshot of addiction captured in the life of Norville Rogers. Hey, don't look. That was awful. Look at this. It resets the camera pointing up at the sky and then quickly pans over to Scoob. At least it's just this one corner. I was wrong. Oh, I was so wrong. I have no idea what I'm supposed to do with Shaggy here. I'm pretty sure something is broken. I have been rewarded. I don't know what it thought I needed, but it was wrong. Cutscene. We finally get to see the mastermind. The design is fine. I guess nothing too special, but a lot of Scooby-Doo monsters are kind of boring, so it's par for the course.
Allow me to introduce myself. I am the Mastermind.
Tim Curry is the voice actor, though. Mwah! Perfect. Boss fight time. I get 2 hits in right away, and the third isn't too far behind. I thought I could get the final hit, but the camera is wild. This flying witch right here is the worst part about the fight, and the only thing that really adds any difficulty. I then spend way too long trying to get that final button before losing. I get 3 more before the game crashes. Okay, I see the keys this time. I don't know why I reloaded a save state when I had an actual save at the boss fight. Whatever. I go through it again, literally getting stuck inside this thing for a little while. How convenient that I could phase through the gate when the way to get the keys is also broken. The problem with this fight is that I have to wait for him to get into a specific position when he doesn't have a set pattern. It's not that big of a deal, it's still an easy fight. Cutscene.
Jackie, Scooby, it's the creeper!
The creeper? Where?
He's everywhere!
They're banana flavored. Oh, banana.
Okay, haha, so silly and wacky. With the new boots, we can run and jump through the tar. This camera corruption is miserable. Ah, my hamburger fell through the rug. Ah, my Scooby fell through the platform. Camera freaks out at the same time the game crashes. The fish factory? Why are there piles of fish strewn about everywhere? The invincibility frames aren't that great considering you're stunned for a moment after being hit. Turns out you don't need to go all the way back when you fall here. 4 keys? I don't think so. I'll take a game crash instead. Stop with the no memory card. That scares me, I don't like that. I spin my Scoob too hard and crash the game again. I spend way too much time in this room with all the silly platforms. This area has to smell horrible. And the feel of the slimy water and scales all over the ground? Ugh. Scooby is brave for just going into this area. Run, little crabs. Scooby's not scared of anything now. He's going on a rampage. Mega Chicken. Forget this. I can't tell where Scoob actually is whenever I jump. Mega Cake. Don't do it, man. Poor crabs. I'll save this one from himself, though. Mega Snacks. Mega Key. Okay, I'll stop. I got killed by jumping into the box? That kill box seems like it should only matter at a certain height, but okay. Caveman isn't having any of it either. Look at him throwing a fit down there. Ah yes, the floating light. I came all the way up here just for it to fall back down? Okay. I don't know why it won't come up all the way. I don't get it. Now Scooby has decided to do this goofy sideways walk. I go back only for the game to crash, but it's okay because I created a save state at the lighthouse. Man, I've got no idea where to go now. Oh, spooked me there, fella. I didn't know you were looking at something so far away. Okay, I looked it up and I am supposed to be at this lighthouse. It just wasn't working because of the corruption. What is this now? Yet that little piece in the way isn't even here this time. At least I can kind of see through this blue texture. I think it's the water texture, actually. I create a save state right before the game crashes. No, really, look at it this time. It's not even 30 seconds. These boulders are flying out of nowhere. I don't know where it's safe. This one knocks me off. I make it through unscathed my 3rd time. I jumped off willingly for snacks the 2nd time. No, not gargoyles. I know Shaggy said it was too high, but I thought there might be a way to get him up there, even though that wouldn't really help me any. Okay, this is kind of obstructive now. It's difficult to see where Scoob is. This is definitely the water texture, which explains why it's kind of see-through, even though there's nothing in the water to really see besides some floating boxes. I like this area. It's simple, and watching things change in the background for progression is cool. These cliffs are easy. Well, they were. I probably could have done it with the messed up textures. I apologize for being fed up with the game at this point. I don't appreciate how I have to jump to get these snacks on the moving platform. It doesn't really add any challenge, it just annoys me.
What I want to know is where's the caveman?
So the boat that expanded only expanded its model, not its collision box, so trying to land on either end means you go into the water. It seems I can't land on it at all now, actually. Scooby demands he be allowed to go wherever he wants to, so I reload to force him to stay under my control. It happened again. I'm tired of this, especially since I can't actually go across anymore. I thought collectathons were supposed to have these in positions where they can all be gathered by accurate movement. These snacks have been laid out in ways that Scooby doesn't move yet, which makes getting them waste a little more time because you have to come back for them. I try to cheat again, and am denied. I didn't try jumping onto that sign. Maybe that would have worked. Oh, whatever. I should have had that. I think this game is sabotaging my efforts on purpose. I shouldn't have said that. He's only large when moving sideways. I really like shape-shifting Scooby, but alas, my movement is also messed up, preventing me from being able to capitalize on this cool little corruption. No, I didn't make a save state after finishing this area. At least I can try for the token again. I am not cheated this time, I got the token. On to the maze. I'm an idiot. I jumped straight into the pit. So after you grab this token, you get to do the classic Indiana Jones thing, but this version's a little different. Scoobert, destroyer of ground. Never mind, the enemies do it too. No, I don't spend too much time trying to bypass the game that ultimately ends up just wasting more time than it would have saved. Name one time I did something like that. Yeah, that's what I thought. The corruptor has gifted me with a Scare Scooby button. It's actually a curse though, since it replaced my jump. I did it! Take that, naysayers! It doesn't matter because I don't have the umbrella for the wind yet. This one is guarded by 2 different inventions. That's stupid. I have no idea where I'm going. We're just gonna skip past all the wandering around and map checking I did while trying to figure out where I was supposed to be going. Except for this part where it pulls a funny prank on me by making me spawn in the water. Alright, finally the area I missed. Hey, the dumb plunger I need. Hey, a game crash. Got the plunger again. I forgot about this texture. This area's atmosphere is greatly improved by the texture corruption. I thought I'd try this boat thing again, since I'm here, but I lose all momentum when I jump now. The next area requires jumping. Time to load a save state of the main menu from forever ago. Say goodbye to all the corruptions. It's time for a fresh game. I didn't get it, but now I see the cracks on the large icicles that I'm supposed to hit. I think my flux might have come on as everything looks more yellow than it should. This won't be the last time you see it, and it's actually not the first time you've seen it if you've watched my first video. Sometimes I forget to turn it off before I start recording, as I always have it on and always have it set to halogen for day and candle for night. For those that don't know, Flux, spelled F.LUX, is a program that reduces the blue light of your computer screen to greatly reduce the chance of migraines and headaches caused from prolonged exposure to artificial blue light. I highly recommend it to anyone who uses a computer for more than a couple of hours a day. Oh, one of these kinds of areas. My obsession with getting the snacks is gonna keep killing me here, isn't it? And now the water is invisible. Now it's visible. What? Invisible? Whatever, I got the Super Smash thing. We're off to a good start in this new area with a fresh crash. Yeah, I just really was not grasping what I was supposed to be doing here. I was just riding along at this point. The stained glass green ghost is pretty cool. The mausoleum is neat, but it doesn't really work well if you're running. Floating coffins on top of fog? Alright. I have no idea if I was supposed to get up here, but I did. I'm not sure how you're supposed to normally get up here. I hate gargoyles, I hate gargoyles, I hate gargoyles! Yeah, I'm definitely not supposed to be here yet. These snack gates are getting pretty high. Even Shaggy's being tormented by these beasts. It's okay though, we get to bonk them this time. And Shaggy's gone. Oh goody, not just the model, but also the shadow. And the enemies. At least their shadows stuck around. Oh. Oh. Did you see that? Scooby's shadow was back for a second there. I don't... This isn't how this cutscene is supposed to look. I do like the Scooby ball attack though.
You won't get away with that easily. You think that was easy? This will teach you to cross paths with me. Yeah, I think this old friend of yours is dying to see you.
Scooby, I can't believe it. It's a green ghost.
That's right, and pretty soon you won't stand a ghost of a chance.
I don't recall the green ghost having a green laser attack. Well, I tried. I don't think I was gonna beat it while everything was invisible anyway. I already know where the snacks are this time. Ah, it was Tar Monster shooting gunk at me. This cutscene is definitely still wrong.
Keep it up, Scooby. I'm almost there. Got it. Jeepers, my skin was beginning to chafe.
Okay, round 2 with the green ghost. I can see and have a save state this time. I hate that I can't kill these obnoxious plants. 3 sucks and he's done.
Easy guys, it's just me, Holly. Holly, Holly, wait, I'm glad to see you. Slipping behind the scenes are That's actually one of my uncle's more useful inventions.
Randy? Raleigh? Anybody? Here we go again.
Here we go again indeed. Alright, we've saved everyone but Fred, so I guess that would mean 2 more fights. One for Fred and then a final boss. Unless they're one and the same. The way these snacks are positioned irks me. I'm glad that screen shake only lasted a moment. It was awful. I'm glad that bounce worked out for me and didn't send me straight to my doom. Boy, save states are important when doing this. Another crash. Back to wandering aimlessly around as I don't remember which umbrella area I need. I got a 6 save while in this area though.
Frights! It's the Headless Spectre!
Hey, this is my first time seeing this area properly. That's an umbrella thing there too. What? How? Okay, these areas aren't supposed to be red, right? Crash Bandicoot! Crash. Finally, this is where I need to be. I like the implication here that Scooby can't even stand in an inch of water without freaking out. And another crash, of course. Save state created, so I don't have to collect all those snacks again. Next area, crash. I hate this area. I really just hate any area in any game that is made up of bouncing platforms and death. Oh goody, I can't press this button. Okay, sometimes the laugh track gets me. I forgive the bouncing platform area. The kill box for falling is so high up here. This place is a nightmare. It's hell. Look at it. The corruptor knows. A crash? No, please. I despise this section of the game. The snack placement is cruel. Inside the ship is fine. I don't like that touching the water is a reset, especially seeing as having invincibility frames prevents it from happening. It should give you iframes and bounce you to where you fell from, like other games. I got the monster token this time, even though bouncing off of enemies doesn't usually work for me. The deck of the ship is alright. I don't know why these things want to bounce me clear off the side of the ship, though. Okay, I said it was alright, but the sails obstructing the platforming is ridiculous. Redbeard is the next boss. Should be easy like the other ones. So you have to dodge increasing waves of ghosts, then destroy an increasing number of ghosts of Captain Moody before aligning yourself in the front of these ropes before Redbeard throws his sword. If he misses a rope, you have to do the whole round over again. It's not complex, but it can be annoying. Especially since the ghosts of Captain Moody spawn above you, making it difficult to smash them. Sometimes. I don't know what determines a hit or miss anymore. If you go near Redbeard, he summons a circle of flame around him, or at least that's what I assumed they were going for. Remembering the pattern of the ghost waves is the most important thing with this fight. This time we have a blood ghost and a slow ghost. I like the slow one. He's my favorite. He's silly and delays the next wave because the next wave doesn't start until all the ghosts from the previous wave are despawned. A beautiful triple kill before... a crash that forces me to start over. Back in and I'm ready to take this ghost pirate down. A little complaint that I didn't make earlier, but definitely still had, was the fact that iframes seem to delay your abilities, making it to where you can get hit multiple times if you're trying to smash an enemy while you have iframes. Here we are, one round left. I hate this game. I don't mean that, obviously, I just hate certain aspects. For example, the fact that the ghosts of Captain Moody spawn in a line and then immediately conglomerate into one multiple hit enemy that you're gonna take a hit from no matter what is absolutely garbage. Couple that with the fact that anytime you lose all your tags or fall into a pit, you respawn with 3 tags. 3 hits. It doesn't matter if you came into the area with 6, you only get 3. Another death, another thought that I'm either really bad at games made for children, this game is harder than I thought it was, or the corruptor is being a bully. I'm pretty sure it's the first one. I'm terrible at platformers and genuinely do not like the genre. It doesn't help that I'm also inept at how they work. Blood Ghost is back. Does that mean Slow Boy is here? I hope so. He's the only one that can improve my mood towards this fight. Yes, he has returned! The Blood Ghost is the trumpet before the Bowl of Wrath. I will defeat this boss. The slowest of ghosts is the most kind spirit we will encounter here. A little laugh just for you, my speed-challenged friend. That was a train wreck. Now I think I'm gonna lose again and have to restart. It's okay. I've got a guy on the inside to help. Yes, the Bowl of Wrath has been poured out. Thank you, my spooky pals. I find it very funny that Fred is the one to figure out that Velma's glasses just have an image on them. So much for the intelligent woman.
Yeah, you know what, sweetie? You're gonna be an astronaut. You're gonna be the prettiest princess astronaut. You're gonna be a little astronaut. As soon as you grow a brain!
She, who must find the clues and solve the mystery, can't even figure out that there's an image on her glasses. Also, that is stupid. If it's just an image printed on or etched into her glasses, that wouldn't make it look like the creeper's everywhere, just always right in front of you. The image is too large on the glasses, too. She wouldn't have been able to recognize it as the creeper, all she would see is green. I know, it's a silly game about a silly cartoon. That doesn't mean I have to be okay with every dumb thing in it. Back to the cutscene, Shaggy's here now, as well as a large quantity of food that wasn't there a second ago. Now Velma has a new pair of glasses without the creeper on them. Where did they come from? I'm just gonna assume Fred carried an extra pair because this always happens with Velma. Smart thinking, Fred, my man. Either that or it was like dumb stickers or paint or something on her glasses and she could just easily remove it.
We'll catch up with you later.
You big chickens.
Big chickens.
Okay, I liked that joke. I appreciate that they actually put a ghost diver in the room. Alright, so I'm about to do something that I told my cousin, who's a big fan of the game, I used to do when I played the game as a kid. He wasn't convinced, so I showed him. And now, just for fun, I'm gonna show you. Remember that hole that Shaggy fell down at the beginning of the game? It's an actual hole. You can fall into it. It requires a little patience and finessing, but it's doable. Now obviously they knew about it since it respawns you. Either that or they just have a respawn layer under the map just in case there's a bug or something. I think it's the first one in this case. Anyway, that's it. Nothing really cool, but again, I appreciate that Scooby on his hind legs can fall into it like Shaggy did. Time to go back into that room with keys and cages. You can't kill the space kook. Hitting this button opens the cages and lowers them into the lava. Why? I can't seem to reach the hanging cage in the middle. I respawn, but I can't leave the cages up because they're closed. I have to hit the button. I don't understand what I'm doing wrong. I warp to the mystery machine, save the game, load the save state of the main menu without corruption, and load back in, hoping that I couldn't make the jump because of some corruption and not my embarrassing lack of platforming skills. A quick little side note about the mystery machine area that I didn't know until after completing the game is that the area has unique things for specific dates. So if your console is on December 31st, January 1st, or July 4th, there are fireworks being shot off. Additionally, on July 4th, the fireworks and smoke coming from the manor are red, white, and blue. On February 14th, grabbing snacks causes hearts to show up. On March 17th, the smoke coming from the manor and the water shooting out of the fountain are green. On May 13th, gathering snacks causes flowers to show up. On October 31st, there are a couple of bats hanging out on the front porch. Finally, on December 25th, it snows. I actually remember the snow one now. I definitely saw the snow as a kid. Back to the cages. I finally reach it, which should pull the now open cage back up. Of course it crashes. Beautiful execution of key gathering. How does Shaggy keep getting in these locked locations where he shouldn't be? I don't know why the barrel calling was necessary, seeing as how he takes the barrel off as soon as he steps on the button. What the gang is concerned with, the multitude of past enemies showing up. What the gang is unconcerned with, the plethora of skeletons chained to the walls. The space kook is an annoying enemy to make common. I was destroying the vases, or urns, without even realizing that they're supposed to have keys in them and that that's what I was supposed to be doing the whole time. The walls in the foreground refuse to cooperate, essentially blinding me in this area. Time to be honest, I actually forgot that you can just bounce on the ghost to defeat him. For some reason, I thought they were invulnerable. Getting the last key here is harder than it should be because of the aforementioned walls. Uh-oh, ice sliding mechanics? Oh yeah, I guess there was an ice rink in the playground, and that wouldn't be the only time that there would be sliding around unless they wasted time and effort just for a joke. It was so long ago, though. I totally forgot about it. I've gone through 3 or so locked doors. How did Shaggy get here? I guess he can just swoosh wherever he wants. I hate this corruption that prevents the walls from becoming translucent. I really don't even know why they wasted processing power by having these walls here anyway. The only time you see them is when they're translucent, since the player doesn't have any control over the camera. Again, I have no idea why I suddenly thought ghosts were undefeatable. It was probably because they were used as a wave dodge mechanics in the previous boss fight. After everything you've seen, you're still scared of a big rat? Come on, Scoob, you should be braver than that by now. I face through this bookshelf and I hate these walls. Why are they here? You would never see them. I've got no clue what to do. After wandering around again, I found that I missed a pickup in this room originally. It was either invisible last time, or I am oblivious to my surroundings. I then waste too much time trying to get all the Scooby snacks in this room. The game crashes, of course, meaning I have to go back to... Oh no, how far back was my last save? Okay, it's not as far back as I thought. Whew, those washing machines are freaking out. The most annoying thing about the game crashing is that I have to collect all these snacks again. I'll save you the torture of watching me run through the same places again for snacks. Wait a second, there's a skeleton roaming free somewhere. Make that 2. Oh, so now that I have the right item, some bats spawn here. Why? Simple, because you don't actually need this item to get here. If you did, then the bats would always spawn. I'd imagine it's so you don't end up soft locking yourself into an area, but you don't actually need the bubbles for this place. All you really need is the umbrella. This electrified room is treated like water. These barrels over here aren't real, which was a mean trick from the corruptor. Wait, doesn't Scoobert have the rubber boots? Why can't he just put those on and walk through here? It can't be bad enough to melt the rubber because these wooden boxes aren't scorched or burning. Also, these gurney's wheels not only don't move, but also aren't oriented in a way that would have the current movement make sense. I just love not having control over the camera, especially in a platformer. It'd be too overpowered if I was allowed to see where I was jumping to. The barrels are real this time. I'm surprised I took the gamble, but I guess I didn't have a choice because this is where you need to be to get up on these platforms. I've been save scumming this room in case you hadn't noticed. I really don't want to have to come back in and hit all the buttons again. I save on this platform before screwing up this jump and needing to reload. But what happens when I reload? Scoobert, the enlightened being that he is, decides that he doesn't need platforms anymore. This does trap me in the air, so I have to reload again. Really, Scooby? You're gonna eat the snacks that were just floating in a vat of either acid or biohazardous material? That's a real low IQ move, even for you. The space kook is the strongest of the regular enemies. I don't care if Charlie here requires you to bash, then smash. Although I didn't think you could hurt him at first since I couldn't smash him. The space kook takes 2 hits, has a ranged beam attack, and respawns, making him an extremely annoying enemy. It could be worse though, he could fly. I don't know why these buttons are so finicky. It really seems like their hitbox is smaller than it should be. I see you! Zap. See? He can attack me before I even see him thanks to the camera and his range. To be fair, if I would have used the bubble here, I probably could have sequence broke this area. I run through the lab again to save before going back to the beam room. It also seems that the monster tokens have smaller hitboxes than you'd think. This is probably to force you to get them the way that they want. Like here, getting the space kook positioned in any way you want is horrid and I should have had that token from that jump. It wouldn't have mattered if I sequence broke to get here. It required a whopping 850 snacks to get through this gate. Alright, so when Scooby collects Scooby snacks, it plays a bite sound effect, suggesting Scooby is eating them when he gets them. These gates require you to pay in snacks that you've collected. So is Scoob regurgitating them into these little robots? Or something worse? Either way, it's time to go snack hunting. Oh, and I got the Mastermind monster token by jumping from the railing this time. I think it's just the corruption that's making it harder to collect sometimes. I also grabbed Charlie's monster token, and the Creeper's token. Since I made the jump the first time here, I missed all these snacks on the staircase that brings you back up. I returned to the attic for missed snacks, and that brings us up to 828. I'm trying to hit areas where I left the most snacks according to the map. Scooby is having a crisis. It's shocking how few snacks were in this little area that requires you to come back when you have both the plungers and umbrella. I might just let some of this play because Scooby doing this tilted and halfway in the ground is amusing to me. Alright, we have the 850 required to progress. Now I just need to hit a warp gate. I just noticed how far away this hedge maze supposedly is from the manor. This place is huge. The hills and stuff make more sense now at least. Game crashed. Finally, the warp gate. It probably would have been faster to go the other way, but it's too late now. Shaggy's at least in a trap this time, so I'm not questioning him being here.
Try swinging for my legs, pal.
Bold of him to assume that the claw, and shirt it's holding, can withstand the additional weight of Scooby. Ah, what a satisfying long line of snacks that don't require any jumping. I like that the shark jumps up and tries to bite you. Scooby becomes a shapeshifter again, and it comes with similar problems as last time. I can only move up now, so that's a reload. Cutscene.
Hey, hey, hello, buddy. Hey, Scooby.
Hey, we don't see you.
Hey, pal. What am I, chopped liver?
What? Shaggy, bro, Scooby just saved you. Why should he be shocked to see you now? You guys walked in together. I don't think this cutscene was made at the same time the previous room was. Definitely not, because Shaggy's on the other side of this vat despite coming through the same door as Scooby. The platforms turn invisible when they go up and visible when they go down. Easy enough. Into another cutscene we go.
Jinkies! And now I know just what it is. The professor was making super real holograms. Like the creeper from my glasses.
No, Velma, not like your stupid glasses. She's just coping with the fact that she got fooled by someone doodling on her glasses.
How about a whole box of Scooby snacks.
Okay. Well, I'm ready.
A whole box of Scooby snacks? Scoob, you've found thousands of snacks. What is one box to you now? I like how this wall was invisible during the cutscene. Ah, it appears to be linked to the camera's distance from it. Alright, so I haven't mentioned it yet, but it seems appropriate to bring it up on the last one. The songs for the bosses are really good. I don't want to get too in-depth about it, but it captures the vibe of the series really well.
Have no doubt, I'm in control. You may think chasing ghosts is thrilling. You need to know who's running the show.
So as you can see, even by this point, I didn't know how to defeat the Funland robot. Yeah, that's right, the Funland robot. Apparently that's what he's called instead of Charlie. I didn't know that until I had looked up how to defeat him. The game doesn't tell you how to, not that I'm aware of. It took me looking up the final boss fight and seeing someone else hit these robots for me to get it. You can tell because I pause in the middle of me running around and then come back and start fighting them. This fight has the same issue as the Captain Moody ghost from the previous one, that being that the enemies tend to clip into each other, making it impossible to hit any of them without taking a hit yourself. However, there is plenty of food in this fight, making it easier overall, especially since the enemies also drop food. They scared my man so hard that he became a glitch. Easy win. Time for the final cutscene.
Okay, there he is. Well, now it's time to get to the bottom of this mystery. Come on, gang. Let's see who the mastermind really is.
Wait, Fred. I think I know who this guy really is. It's that spooky groundskeeper, right?
Oh, yeah, that's right. Blame the spooky groundskeeper. It's always a spooky groundskeeper.
As I was saying, let's see who the mastermind really is.
It's Professor Alexander Graham. Oh, me?
Oh my.
Uncle Alexander? I don't believe it.
I knew it all the time.
Something just doesn't add up. If you ask me, someone's playing a nasty trick. A trick of the light. Clues.
Remember how Holly said she followed all of our cases? Only she'd know enough about our old foes to program holograms of.
And I noticed how she passed through that rail near the secret lab.
By setting up a hologram of herself when the mastermind's around, she'd have a perfect alibi.
But what I don't get is how she got the professor here. In a mastermind costume, no less.
Well, that's simple. She used my patent pending dress for supper, subject worker. I spent so much time in that I built a device that could get me dressed into the front door in seconds. That way I can...
Why, Holly? Why go through all of this? You guys would have caught my uncle, and when he was sent to jail, I'd steal his super hologram invention and claim I came up with it myself. I would have made a fortune, too.
Well, all these fiddles are a great start. Hey! Scooby-Doo!
The hallway scene during the credits is also appreciated. Let's go back to that final cutscene though. This cutscene reveals the problems with the story. It was all just holograms, but as the cutscene itself shows, holograms cannot physically interact with anything because they are just light. I can buy off on Scooby defeating them in his mind by being brave enough to attack them, but that doesn't explain all the weird places and floating coffins, or bouncing off of monsters to reach higher places, or Shaggy being carried around by a witch, or Scooby eating the food they drop, definitely not Velma's stupid glasses, or the massive shipwrecks. Whatever, it's a game. One last celebratory hole fall. This game was fine. If I really loved Scooby-Doo or platformers, then I'm sure this would be a favorite. There's nothing wrong about this game if you ignore the cruel placement of gargoyles next to swings that would cause you to fall into pits and the whole hologram nonsense, and I can definitely see why it's a nostalgic favorite for a lot of people. I was a frightened little baby about this game and never played it, even though there's only a few things that could actually scare you, like enemies jumping out of fish piles and large vases, or the frame falling in the attic, or the werewolves jumping out of the hedges. I hated horror as a kid though, so I never got this game. I liked the Monster Gallery. Overall, it was an average platformer that's really only set apart by its theme. I personally don't think I'll ever play this game again, and I'm definitely not 100%ing it. That's it. God bless.
Scooby-Dooby-Doo!